Okay, picture this. A company so huge, so influential, it advises something like 90% of the Fortune Global 500.
Yeah, operates in 150 countries, pulls in over $67 billion.
Exactly, huge numbers.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, you've probably never really thought much about them. We're talking about Deloitte.
The quiet giant, you could say.
Right? But here's where it gets really wild. This company, seen as this pillar of corporate excellence, has been slapped with millions in fines.
And not for small stuff either. We're talking exam cheating scandals.
Get this, even telling clients to audit themselves? It's pretty shocking.
It really is.
So our mission today for you listening is to kind of unpack this paradox. How can this one company be both this innovation powerhouse and repeatedly in hot water with regulators?
It's a fascinating question.
Okay, so let's dive in. This quiet giant, Deloitte. Where did it all begin?
It goes way back, actually. London, 1845.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, a fellow named William Welch Deloitte. He was basically the first person appointed as an independent auditor for a public company. So, roots in integrity, you could say.
Interesting. But how did they become the giant they are today? Especially with that consulting side.
Well, that's a key part of the story. The big shift happened after the Enron scandal, early 2000s, and the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, or SOX.
Right, SOX.
Yeah.
That changed a lot for accounting firms.
It did. It forced most of the other big players, the other big four, to sell off their consulting businesses. The idea was to avoid conflicts of interest, right?
Makes sense. Audit and consulting under one roof. Tricky.
Very. But Deloitte, they were the only one that kept its consulting arm.
Really? The only one?
Yep. And now, that consulting business brings in over $30 billion of their, $67 billion total revenue. It's massive. It's why they're the biggest firm by revenue this year, 2024.
That's a huge strategic move.
Yeah.
But doesn't keeping consulting, inherently create those potential conflicts SOX was trying to stop? How do they manage that?
Well, that is the tightrope, isn't it? And maybe that leads us to the, let's call it the shadow side.
Okay.
Because despite all the talk about quality and integrity, and they do talk about it a lot, there's this pattern of, issues globally.
Like the exam cheating you mentioned.
Exactly. Fines for that in Indonesia and the Philippines just this year, 2024, $1 million. Then there's China, a big fine, nearly $31 million, because they basically weren't skeptical enough, didn't push back or question their client properly.
Failing to apply professional skepticism, yeah.
Right. And then the really stunning one, also in China, the SEC fined them $20 million because their affiliate told audit clients to just do parts of the audit themselves.
Wait, seriously? Audit your own homework?
Pretty much. It undermines the whole point of an independent audit.
Unbelievable. And it's not just overseas issues, is it?
No, definitely not. Here in the U.S., too, there was a $50 million SEC fine related to Adelphia Communications, basically missing illegal acts. And a really big one, almost $150 million settlement tied to the Taylor, Bean, and Whitaker mortgage fraud.
Wow.
Plus, more recently, things like a class action lawsuit over their own 401k fees being too high.
Right. And didn't they lose some government contracts recently? Something about Elon Musk?
Yeah, the DOGE initiative. That aimed to shift federal contracts away from the big players. Deloitte reportedly lost over $1 billion in potential contracts there, became a sort of primary casualty.
Okay, so you've got this list. Cheating, lack of skepticism, self-auditing instructions, massive settlements, lost contracts. Is this just like the cost of being so enormous? Or is it something deeper?
That's the core question, I think. When you see this pattern, different kinds of misconduct, fines for independence violations where objectivity is compromised across so many places, it does suggest a systemic challenge, It really shines a light on what they call the expectation gap in auditing, what the public thinks auditors do or should do versus what they will actually deliver across this huge, complex global network.
That gap sounds pretty significant, like a disconnect between the promise and the reality sometimes.
Exactly. It's almost like a corporate Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation sometimes.
But to be fair, it's not all scandals and fines, right? There's the other side. Deloitte pushes this idea of making an impact that matters.
They do. And they invest quite a bit in things like volunteering. They report, 1.1 million hours of pro bono work, and they talk a lot about inclusive innovation.
And things like that smart factory in Wichita.
Right. That's an interesting one. It's like a real working factory floor set up to show clients digital transformation in action, focuses on tech and developing talent. So there's definitely that forward-looking, innovative side, too.
So wrapping this up for you, our listener, Deloitte, Clearly a powerhouse, a major leader, no question.
Undeniably influential.
But also clearly grappling with some serious ethical challenges and inconsistencies. It's this constant tension, it seems, between the drive for profit and growth and living up to their stated principles.
Yeah.
A real case study in big corporate complexity.
Which leaves us with a big question, really. Can a firm that massive, that global, truly balance its purpose, that impact that matters idea with the sheer relentless pressure for profit?
Or will these kinds of issues, these sort of black swan scandals, just keep popping up and shaking the foundations of trust in the whole sector?
That's something to think about, definitely. How sustainable is that balancing act?